What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded Podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
And I'm Ant.
How are you doing, guys? I can't say this week because it's been more than a week.
It's been a couple of weeks.
How are you doing?
Good, good. Very tired.
Yeah? Why are you tired?
First day back to work.
I wouldn't know what that feels like. That was quite a long time ago for me now.
It was 2 days ago.
As I said, it was a long time ago for me now. Yes, back to work, James. How was it?
It wasn't too bad. Just getting back into the groove of things.
Yeah, back to the heavy lifting, back to traffic. Yay, fun. What about you, Ant? You went back a little bit earlier than James did, didn't you?
Tired as well. Second day of being back to work. So I was a day ahead of James.
What am I? Day 3? Day 3 today? I've forgotten. What day is it? It's Thursday. Yes, day 3 for me. It's been all right. To be fair, I've had a pretty easy week, which has been nice, but kind of sucky because obviously we've not long been back from UKGE. Did you have a good time?
Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah?
Loved it.
Excellent. I will personally say this is probably my favourite one that I've been to so far, which was great. It was great to have Anthony on board for this one as well.
It was indeed. It was indeed.
We did,
And thank you for having me, of course.
as always, we will always be very happy to have you. We did a bit of content while we were there.
Yeah, we did.
Did some videos here and there. They're not the best quality in the world, I guess, but
Something to start with,
it's
though,
something
isn't
to
it?
start with, yeah.
For a possible Meeple-minded future, who knows?
Exactly.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and we're putting in a bit more effort. James, you had to be on camera. How was that? I think you managed to survive only being on one video, though, because I think only one of them ever went out. So that's, yeah. But, talking about UK Games Expo, this is going to be our sort of, I guess, reaction to the show, our thoughts on how it went, our pros, our cons of the show. Any specific memories that stick in your mind, we can talk about them today. We can talk about the potential future of UK Games Expo, and we will do that in just a few minutes. But my first question to you guys is, how do you like the new studio?
Yes, I like it. And something I'm really looking forward to getting used to as well, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, it looks really good. Looks really good. I was tempted to joke then and just go, meh.
Yeah.
Meh.
Yeah.
No. In all seriousness, it looks very good.
It looks very good. And again, this is like the enthusiasm that's going to build up for what could be, used well for the future of the podcast. So
Yeah, let's hope so. Because obviously it gives, whenever we do like online interviews and stuff in the past, there's never really been a background for people to, it's just my house, really. But necessity obviously had us move where we were, up, through some of my family coming home. And now we're in a much smaller room, but this one's actually a little bit sound treated. We've got a nice new set.
and it's cozy.
And it is cozy. We can actually extend my gaming table all the way out. We've got a nice big table now. You two aren't so cramped together while we talk now as well, so that's always good.
This is his dance space. This is my dance space. Exactly. He doesn't go in mine, I don't go in his.
And there's the dotted line down the middle. So,
my side.
Shall we talk about some Games Expo stuff?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, what were your first impressions when we first got to Birmingham? Birmingham, as they well say.
What was my first impression? It's the same impression I always get when I go to Birmingham. Oh, it's grey.
Yeah. Well, I believe when we left home, it was quite nice. And then when we got there, yes, it was very grey.
Yes.
But how was the travel? You actually travelled up with us this time, man?
I thought it was pretty easy, to be honest, and much quicker than I thought it was going to be, to be honest. I mean, I remember travelling to see a girlfriend years and years ago going up to Birmingham. It took me forever. And then, nowadays, it's like, go to London, go to Birmingham. We were, an hour and a half there? It was?
Something like that,
And wow,
Yeah, it was nice and quick. Somehow we managed to dodge multiple bullets of the British rail network system, and we didn't have a single minute's delay, which was very impressive considering we have to travel by two of the worst possible companies.
No delays, no strikes. We were super lucky with this one.
Yeah, I think we were.
Yeah, the best bit about that, though, is you get to put your smug face on when you listen to everyone else tell you how bad the traffic was. Oh, it took us 4 hours to get here, and you're just like,
Yeah, we've played 3 games on the train.
Yeah. It was, how was it on the train? Were there any problems? No. It was a breeze.
It was lovely. Yeah, we had a nice sit back and relax, nice comfortable seats. We literally played 3 games on the train.
Absolutely.
On the way up. That was good fun. I couldn't fault it.
No, not at all.
Yeah, very, very good. Can you remember the games we did play on the way up?
We played 2 games of Welcome to the Dungeon and Bad Trevor.
That was it.
We did.
Yes, yeah. Hitting out the nice travel games.
That's it.
Good fun. Don't remember who won any of them, but it doesn't really matter. We could break out the BG stats, but I know it wasn't me, so we're not going to.
Yes. I mean, on the note of BG stats, I would like to say that UKGE has done wonders for mine because now it is alive with colour.
It is. It is indeed. You've actually done some gaming, James.
Yeah, well, it's like...
Well, it's the fact that it's now a different location as well.
It's a new location, multiple days of the week. So the little pie chart that tells you what days of the week it is not just half and half.
Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah, so it's like, there's colour all over the place. It feels like it's finally come alive.
Yeah. So I think the only days on mine is like Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're the ones that are just sort of like, they're almost non-existent, really, because I very rarely game on those days. Tuesdays is my day off to relax. And Thursdays we do this. So yeah, it's I don't really get a chance to game on those days so much. But yeah. Well, once we got there, we had hotel was nice and close, right?
It was
literally right behind the venue.
Perfect location. That was absolutely perfect. Literally just behind the hall. So even if we needed to drop stuff off and come back, it would have been 10 minutes if that. Max.
Yeah, exactly. It was that nice thing that if you went, I think it was right to the back of hall 3, the gaming hall.
Yeah.
Where the fire exits were, and you could see through them. You could actually see our hotel from there. So that's how close it was.
Yeah, it was.
Really,
I mean, compared to last year and the faff it was to get back to that travel lodge, it's just sort of, just being able to go across the bridge, down, across, and you're at the front doors of the hotel. It was just like, yeah.
We didn't have to worry about any kind of transportation. Should we have stayed out super late?
Yep.
Which we did a couple of the nights. We stayed right till the end at the gaming hall. But yeah, it was nice. There was no pressure whatsoever. It was, you knew you could leave the hotel 10 minutes before doors open in the morning as well, and you know you'd get there probably with time to spare. So that's always good. So yeah, hotel was really good. I think for me, it was a minor inconvenience for me, but the aircon didn't work in my room. And as someone who gets hot very quickly, aircon was something I love usually. Didn't work. Didn't really cause me that much of a grief.
Yeah.
I think my partner enjoyed the fact that it didn't work because she didn't have to...
She didn't freeze at night.
freeze at night like she usually has to. So, yeah, that was my minor gripe. I mean, it ruined my entire trip, that did. It's disgusting. I think I should be reimbursed my full amount or at least given a free hotel for next year.
We can try that.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. Oh, God. What was the brand? Ibis. That was it. Ibis.
That's it.
Yeah. Hint, hint, wink, wink. I'm sure they're listening, obviously. But, yeah, hotel good for you guys. Yeah,
absolutely.
Good night's sleep.
Yeah, the hotel was perfect. Breakfast was great. And yeah, as we've mentioned several times, compared to the last year, that 5-minute walk compared to, I think, it averaged about 25 minutes from the travel lodge. If you took into account the shuttle bus. Yeah. Maneuvering through
and it could occasionally be worse. If you miss the shuttle bus by like 1 or 2 minutes, it's like, well, that's 20-minute wait.
Yeah.
Just for the bus to come back.
Yeah, just for it to rotate. And it's just, but I think compared to last year, I really felt that pressure at the travel lodge to eat breakfast, get out, because you've got to, like I said, you've got to get the shuttle bus, you've got to maneuver through the airport terminal, you've got to catch the little tram thing over to the NEC, and then walk all the way across the bridge down to the halls. Yeah. And it was just, like you said, it was just, you could eat your breakfast at a leisurely pace, wander over about 10 minutes before the halls opened, and you still had a good spot.
Yeah, exactly. So, Anne, obviously this was a new experience for yourself because when you've been previously, I believe you stayed in like an Airbnb.
We had an Airbnb about half an hour, 20-minute drive from where.
So how do you find the difference in staying like in a hotel to start with, but more so a hotel that's so close? I mean,
Airbnb you've got to share with everyone, so I don't have an issue with that at all.
No.
So please, don't take it the wrong way. But I think with the hotel, you've got your own space, you got your own pace, and very much what James said. It's not a case of rushing around. I think yourself, Jason, planned it quite well, saying, right, we're going to be at breakfast this time, we're going to leave at this time, and that's it. And that's what I like to have instead of just going, we'll go at our own time. And
bit more of an itinerary sort of thing.
And then rushing at the last minute. So I don't think I felt any rush this whole weekend at all. We just went at our own pace. We took it as we did, and it was just a nice, smooth weekend.
Yeah,
personally,
it's nice.
As someone who's never stayed off site, what was it like your experience last year when you arrived and you had to park? What was that like?
Yeah, so the parking was annoying because, again, it depends on what time you get there. So the sooner you get there, the closer the parking is to the NEC. But obviously, nearer the time to where the doors open, it goes further and further and further away.
Of course.
It must have been, like you said, James, 15, 20 minutes just to walk to the event, let alone from the car park. Then you've also got the payment for parking as well, which is not cheap at the end of the day. It's a lot. But yeah, I mean, you've got to take that into consideration as well. It's like if you buy stuff and you want to drop it off in the car, and you've got to walk another 20 minutes with heavy bags all the way to the car. So it was just nice to have literally a 5-minute walk, considering how heavy our bags were on day 3. Just to like carry it from then and there. It was not an issue whatsoever because it was so close and convenient.
Yeah. So obviously being so close and convenient, that was very, very handy on especially day 1 when we were purchasing quite a few games, myself and you.
Yes.
So should we talk a bit about our purchases? James, we'll let you chime in at the end because you actually did buy something.
On day 2.
You actually bought you bought 2 things.
I did. And day 2 and day 3.
You did. So wait till we talk about day 2. And you spent some money on day 1?
I did.
What did you get on day 1? Can you remember?
The first thing I rushed for was Harmonies.
Yes.
This was the game I was meant to have mentioned on that episode we did before this about what we're looking forward to and completely forgot. But I went straight to what was the closest store at the time. I think it was Games Law. What time did it start, the event? 9?
9 a.m.
I think I got to Games Law by 15:15 and there was 1 copy left.
Yeah.
And that was the first one I snagged.
That's not even far from the door.
No,
right?
that's literally to the left-hand side next to merchandise. That's it. How crazy is that? They must have had so many copies, and in 15 minutes it was down to 1.
Yeah, and I believe that was a sellout over the weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Every day it sold out.
One of many sellouts anyway.
Yeah.
But that was the first thing I bought.
Very nice. I'm actually just booting up my list now, he says. Trying to find it. There it is. So most of my purchases did actually come on day 1. And I was pretty good with what I bought this year. I didn't go crazy on things that weren't already on my list. So we'll start it off nice and easy and say I got my Corridor Pac-Man.
Yep, yes you did.
Which was really good.
But that was one of the things you was looking forward to.
100% I was looking forward to it. And being at the press event the night before the main event, we got to see it in person. We got to see the supersized version of it.
That is so cool. That needs to be a real thing. I would pay money for that.
I'd pay a good amount of money for that, right? That would be amazing, especially if we ever get round to doing like events and stuff, promoting the show, or myself and James can do events promoting our games club. It's like that's a centerpiece.
That is a table presence and a half, I'm telling you.
You know, I would love that. I really, really would. But I'm hoping we'll start seeing that at all the events now going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
But speaking of Pac-Man, it's one of the highlights I have because I saw it every single day, which was, of course, Flavian and his Pac-Man suit.
Yep.
And what a suit it was.
Oh, what a suit. I want the suit as well, man.
Yeah, too right.
I don't like suits, but I was digging it. I was digging.
Yeah, it definitely stood out.
Oh, yeah.
You could see it like straight across the gaming hall, which is impressive.
And he was all over the place as well. Like he didn't stay on his own stand. He was all over the place, going around, talking to people all the time. He's a really nice guy. But yeah, that Pac-Man suit, it's amazing. I want it.
Yep. I mean, do you reckon you could get them to license, like those garden chef sets, with the really big ones? It's like, can we get like a garden-sized corridor Pac-Man? But you actually have to
That would be
the
awesome.
You know, you can make Pac-Man out of one of those exercise ball things about that size.
Yeah, that would be pretty damn cool.
I'd give that a go.
What else? What else did you buy, Ant?
Me was looking for the Borderlands board game.
Yes.
And do you remember we got to the end of Hall 2 and I'm like, I can't find this game anywhere.
Yeah.
And it was advertised to be here at UK Expo. And then just this tiny, random, small stall, the top right-hand corner of Hall 2, like the very end of it was this guy selling like the Kickstarter stuff and the game itself. All on his own, just like, this has got to be some sort of scam. So no, it was all there. Yeah. Snagged a copy of that. Looking for, I haven't even bothered. It's still sealed at the moment. I haven't even opened it up yet. So, but looking forward to it.
I did find that really, really funny because obviously, as you said, we were quite close to the end of all of it. And I can say you were a bit down in the dumps.
Yeah.
You were proper like getting upset about that.
All right, I was just like,
and then like 2 minutes
this?
later, it's like, oh, it's there.
Do you remember my mouth literally dropped? I was like, yeah. And I was just like, it's there. This guy has it. And I think he was selling like a random Cyberpunk game as well.
It was Cyberpunk, yeah.
But I had to nab that, mate. I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer. I believe that was another one that sold out as well during the event. So,
yeah, from what I've been told, it did. I'll be honest, like other than that one time that we went to that stand, I don't think I went back by it.
No, because
it was right on the end of an aisle at the at the very back of the hall. It's not really on a part that I would usually go down.
It just felt like it wasn't meant to be there, you know. It was just like this random, like, hey, come look at my stuff sort of stall. It was so random.
If there was a trench coat big enough, it would be.
I still would have nabbed it.
Would you like my Borderlands?
It probably would have been like a knockoff or something, but I still would have paid money for it.
That stand definitely gave that impression, like he snuck in and he's waiting for someone to go, hang on a minute, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, it's like he signed a deal, like, I'm the only guy who can sell this. No one else can but me.
Yeah.
We found
like the board game equivalent of a ticket tout? Like,
right.
He's bought all the copies as he's come in and just like pitched up.
This is it.
But it was all the Kickstarter versions and stuff, wasn't it? Like,
yeah,
absolutely. All exclusivity on it, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So
I was tempted to buy the rest of the stuff, but I don't think it'll come to the table that much. So just stuck with the core.
I'm looking forward to trying it. I will be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like expecting high things out of it, but even if it gets A play, I'll say I've got my money's worth out of it. So
no, that's fair. I managed to nab my draft and write records that I was gunning for.
You did,
yes.
On the first day, was very, very happy to grab that. It led on to further purchases, but they were on day 2, so I'll talk about them in a minute. But obviously that was Inside Up Games, and we were there sort of checking out.
These are the guys that did Earth, right?
They are the same people that did Earth. Yep, and. We didn't manage to get a demo play of Terminus, which was a bit upsetting.
Apparently, a lot of people did, and it was booked out majority of the weekend.
It was indeed. I did try.
Yeah.
But we didn't manage to get on that. But it doesn't matter because apparently my copy will be here within the next month or so. So
there we go, mate.
That's a bit of a score. I managed to get the Tales to Amaze Unmatched.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I wasn't planning to. This was the only one I didn't plan to buy. And the only reason I really got it was because I'd planned to get the Sun's Origins, which I also picked up, and also the Slings and Arrows set. But I did not see the Slings and Arrows set.
No,
once.
we looked for that on.
But apparently that was the prize if you won the Unmatched tournament.
It was.
And I didn't know that. I thought, like you guys said, it was going to be there to buy. But apparently it was there as the first prize if you won the Unmatched tournament.
Yeah.
That was the same last year, though, wasn't it? Because it was the Houdini set.
That's right,
yeah.
And the acrylics, which are very exclusive, the acrylic psychics.
Yeah. So, I didn't manage to get that, but I did obviously get Tales from Maze, which we actually played on the first evening as well.
And it's a great game. I have to admit, it was difficult, but what a difference to Unmatched.
Oh, some of those, I don't know how your characters played, but it's like, I really want to play Tesla in the standard game.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
seems really powerful.
Yeah,
and the miniatures in that one as well.
The Mothman one. I'm sorry, that's the standout of the core box. That 100%. Mothman is it's so good.
I would put that in. It's got to be close to being one of the best Unmatched miniatures that have been produced to date, in my opinion. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm just gutted that it doesn't come with a deck of its own, so that you can use it in the normal.
I'm sure someone will make a custom one or something.
I will be willing to bet there's already a fan deck out there somewhere.
Yeah, either someone should make a fan deck or they should almost as like a mini expansion, release just
Yeah.
decks
Yeah.
for both the Martian Invader and the.
I'd buy it.
Yep.
And the fact you got it £10 cheaper from a different store as well.
Yep.
Because you were going to buy it for that price.
Again,
and we
it
went somewhere
all
else.
goes back to when we were talking about the tips
Yep.
and stuff. I think I bought mine from Thirsty Meeple.
It was going to be, and then you
that
bought it
was
from
it.
Chaos.
That was it, yes. It was £48 on the Thirsty Meeple.
Yep.
And then we ended up, you happened to be with me at the time
Yeah.
or something and said, oh, it's
I swear
38 on,
At
on
Chaos.
Chaos. And it was, which was weird because I bought Sun's Origins from Thirsty Meeple, which was £5 or £6 cheaper than Chaos.
Yeah, how weird.
So it's like two different sets, two different
But a whole £10
prices.
cheaper, you can't deny that's a deal.
However, I did notice, and I want to talk about prices a little bit here, because did you notice fluctuating prices on the same stands over
On
the
Saturday,
weekend?
definitely.
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect example, when I bought Pac-Man on Friday, it was £30 from Thirsty Meeple. When I went back the following day, it was £38. And then I think the last few copies they had on the Sunday had gone down to 36. So there's like 3 different prices, 3 different days.
Yeah, because there was a game I wanted from Games Law. They had it Friday for 116. On Saturday, it went to 140.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny. I don't mind a little price hike if it was like £4 quid, but not £25 higher. That's
Yeah,
insane.
I kind of have a bit of an objection to changing prices over the weekend. You know, getting cheaper is one thing, but increasing your price just because it's Saturday and it's the busiest day,
Yeah.
it's
not on.
It's not a great business practice. I lost a little bit of respect for Thirsty Meeple when I noticed that they had increased their prices on the Saturday, but it wasn't just them. I'm not only calling out them. I think pretty much everyone did.
No,
it.
loads of them were. Yeah.
It was only the publishers themselves that didn't alter their prices at all. So that's another thing to add to the tips video or podcast that we do next year, which will be, if you are going to buy, clearly the Friday is the better day
Yes.
because that seems to be the cheapest day. What else did you buy, Ant? Because your list is a bit longer than mine, so I think you should do a few now.
Thanks to you, Jason, I managed to get hold of Bounty Hunters.
Yes.
So Bounty Hunters
I'd
was the
forgotten
Star
about
Wars
that.
game that was again exclusive to UKGE. Went there Friday morning, could not find it for love nor money. All of a sudden, I get a tap on my shoulder saying, "Ant, Waterstones has had it." I was like, "Well, get it for me then. Don't just tell it was there." But no,
Yeah. You know that game you want? Yeah, it's over there.
yeah.
There's like 2 on the shelf.
But honestly, I was like moving people out the way. Yoink!
To be fair, not only was it only on the Waterstone stand, it was right at the bottom.
Yeah,
I remember that.
very
It's like-
sneaky.
I think the only reason you noticed it is because you accidentally knocked it off the shelf.
I didn't knock it off the shelf. My shoelace was untied. I had to. I had to kneel down.
I remember it was
to
something
tie my
like-
shoelace and sort of looked up. I was like, James, didn't Ant want Star Wars Bounty Hunters?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's literally 2 copies here.
Yep. And I was like, "No, whoosh, take that." Then I'll make use of Waterstone's 20% deal on their first purchase.
Yep.
And got it for a steal.
Yeah, and I think we went back around about an hour or so later, didn't we? And they'd all gone.
They'd all gone.
Like, everything had gone, and they'd read down the shelves. There was some disappointment on your part, wasn't there? Because you were hoping for Courtesans on the Friday.
Yes,
and
so apparently there was an
announced that
issue with it,
there.
wasn't there? Yeah, there was an issue with the delivery or something, so we had to wait for the next day for it, didn't we?
That's correct, yeah.
If I remember correctly, it turned up at 6 o'clock as the expo was closing.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
So,
it literally turned up at 6 o'clock. So it was there for first thing the next day. And
on the
it
busiest day.
wasn't there for very long. Poor Ant had to get in the queue to potentially run, but luckily enough,
But we had an inside guy, so.
a good friend of the channel,
Yes.
Mr. Tabletop Games himself, Stephen, he managed to nab you a copy.
He did. And thank you, sir, for doing that.
He is very, very grateful.
I am, honestly. And I've actually just learned that game today as well, so I'm looking forward to playing it.
I'm looking forward to playing that as well.
Yeah, me too.
Come on, what else did you buy, Ant? Did you buy anything more?
Nothing else on that day,
Okay.
but you did.
I did, yep. I also picked up the Happy Home game that I was interested in from Alley Cat
it.
Games,
Yep.
which we also played
Yep.
on the Friday night. Well, guys, what did you think of that?
I liked it. It reminds me of a video game me and my daughter play called Moving Out. So Moving Out is
Yes.
obviously about taking stuff
Yeah.
out, but this is putting into your home, and it's the game that James likes to say the version what it is of it. It's
Polyomino.
Yeah.
Polyomino, yep.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Bit of Polyomino.
Once we got used to who was in line first,
Yes.
Yep.
then apart from that, the rest of it was great. I really enjoyed it.
No, good. Really happy you enjoyed that. Final game that I bought on that day, I bought my distilled expansion, obviously.
Yes, you did. Yes.
And the final actual game that I bought was Molehill Meadows.
Yes, I knew there was another one somewhere.
Which we also played again.
We did.
How did you find that? Because obviously this is the newest game from the designer behind Zuli, which we love at the channel. And I did not back this one when it was on crowdfunding. Literally like 2 months ago, and so it's already delivered, and it's for sale. And everyone I've introduced this game to has been out and bought it, so that's great. But what are your guys' thoughts on Molehill Meadows?
I liked it. I mean, I'm not like the best, drawing type person when it comes to games like this. Like Roll and Write or something they do it. But it's not quite Roll and Write, though, is it?
It's a one of those right games.
Yeah, but I love the
be a drawing, right, wouldn't it? Because you're drawing a card and then drawing
something
shape.
like that. Yeah,
it's like you get shown a Tetris piece and you have to try and draw that Tetris piece onto your.
Yeah,
I mean,
to create a tunnel network.
It took me a while because I was trying to figure out where can I do this to score points and not score negative points. It's a brain buster.
Yeah,
by far.
The hardest part I found was not like only allowing one piece to touch the ton. I spent like ages just, how can I get this to work?
And then obviously not filling up your meadow too quickly, because then obviously you start running out of space and not able to place stuff. So yeah.
Yep.
Very, very interesting. That was the final thing I bought on day one. Yeah, great fun. Great fun. I talked James out of a purchase on day one.
You did. So while you were at the Alley Cat stand, Autobahn caught my eye.
Yes.
And there was a bit of confusion because we couldn't work out if it was the deluxe edition or not.
Yeah.
They seemed to think it was.
Yeah.
We weren't so sure. And
I mean, it was based on the price, wasn't it? Because it's like the price seemed really, really good.
Really good.
For the retail version.
Yeah.
And they were insisting it was the deluxe version. But I sort of said, oh, well, I can't remember if that's good or not. And then as we were walking away, I was like, no, actually, that's pretty good. And then we were seeing it on the other stands at like 50 odd pounds.
I think it might have even been, I know Ant's already mentioned the name of the stand. It just popped out of my head.
Chaos Cards.
Not Chaos Cards, the one along the back wall.
Games Law.
Games Law.
Yeah.
I think Games Law had it for 58.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, from the outside of the box, you can't. Is that the retail? Is that the deluxe?
Deluxe, yeah.
So yeah, I followed the advice of the video. I was sort of like, you know what?
Do your research.
I'm not gonna buy it now. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna check some prices because I've seen it on several stands.
Yep.
So we're gonna go around. We're gonna do some shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll come back on day 2 and make a decision.
Indeed. But there was one other thing that you saw on.
I saw that on day 2.
That was day 2.
That was day 2.
Okay. Well, let's talk about day 2.
Before we do that, can I just
Go
jump in quickly? Bumped into a couple of celebrities as well.
Yes.
For the, if anyone knows their board games, got to meet legendary games designer Eric Lang, which was a thrill because, again, he's made one of my favorite games of all time. Got to have a few questions with him about it because he's not involved with the season 3 and 4 of that game. Apparently, he was going through some personal stuff at the time, but he's happy with what they've done with it. So it was nice to get like a nice seal of approval of him. But I loved what he said about Marvel United. This was the kicker.
Oh, the DC United
I had to ask him if he was involved with DC, and what he said was that, DC can go and eat. Boop. Was brilliant. Kind of nice to talk to him about Marvel United as well, because he is a massive X-Men fan, as much as I am, and I never even knew that. And we were just talking about the Marvel films and stuff and the future of it. It was just nice general chit chat with him. Yeah. Really nice guy to talk to. And then I got to meet my second wife, Danny Standrin. Such a lovely lady. She was like so nice to chat to. She signed my copy of Regicide because I think me and her are the only ones who like that game. So
we never actually got to play that.
No, we didn't. But I'm sure we will. But yeah, I was worried she was going to say no, but she was like, "Oh no, did you just go buy this?" I said, "No, this is my copy I've had for like 3 years. Can you sign it?" She was more than happy to do it. So yeah, really nice to see them and meet them as well. So
I mean, I didn't get involved with the conversation with Danny, but yeah, obviously I was with you.
You was with me when we met Eric.
With, Eric Lang. That was good fun. And yeah, like you said, it was brilliant just hearing the opinions on the DC.
It was. I mean, such a fun guy as well, you know. Even,
was, right?
Even down to the photo he took with you,
Yeah.
you know, and now the serious one.
Yeah.
And then pulled a face.
So down to earth. When you think of people that are high up when they make, you know, they've made your favorite board game, you feel like, you know, they're, you know, you're paying to see a celebrity sort of thing, and they were just down to earth,
Especially
happy to talk about it or anything.
I guess especially when they're brought in for these kind of shows, you know, because you sort of think to like Comic-Con and stuff, you know, these people are there, you know, the celebrities are there, but you either have to pay to see them, and they're there because you're paying to see them, right? They're not there because they're super into what, you know, whatever.
Exactly.
You know, Harrison Ford doesn't voluntarily go to a Star Wars con.
No.
You know what I mean? Whereas these guys, yes, they are brought in to do it, but you know that they have a passion for being there.
This is it, yeah.
And you also see them just walking around. Like, they're not always on a stand. They're walking around.
Yep.
They're going and buying stuff. You know, that's where you know that their hobby is still alive.
Yeah,
you know,
even when we gamed in the gaming hall, they were just gaming there, and I happened to say, "Oh, sorry, can I have a quick photo with you?"
Yeah,
like a couple of YouTubers I bumped into, but yeah, just, you know, they were happy to talk about games. They were happy to talk about other stuff.
Yeah,
not like none of them were like, "Sorry, I've got to go and do this."
Yeah,
you know, come back later. Straight out the bat. Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
What's your favourite game? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and even when we were talking to Eric, it sort of got to the point where it was like, look, I'm really sorry, I've got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
But we'd been talking for a fair while anyway, and it was like, look, I'm really sorry, I'm booked in for this. It's like, no,
it's like, you
don't
go,
need to
mate.
apologise. You head off. Really, really nice fella.
I kind of felt bad we didn't ask about his new game. I was too busy asking about his older games. But yeah, nice guy, super nice guy.
I'm sure we'll give it a play. Why not? Why not? So anything else about day one that you guys want to talk about?
Aside from getting to play a bunch of the games that you've mentioned, like I think a particular highlight from the plays of day one in the evening was Harmonies.
Yes.
Harmonies.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that game. I can see why you gunned for that.
Yeah.
It was sort of that hybrid of like Azul.
We played it a couple times throughout the weekend, didn't we? And then we introduced it to Dave and his wife.
Yeah.
And they liked it so much they were trying to get it the next day, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it just goes to show that game is going to be huge this year.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's in my top 5 already of the year.
Oh,
yeah,
hands down.
It was such like as soon as I sort of looked at it, like obviously the central drawing.
Yeah.
I was like, that's straight out of Azul.
Yeah.
And then the multiple different ways you can score the board, it was just sort of like, and it doesn't have that punishment that Azul has.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, if you can't,
there's nothing, no negative points or anything like that at all.
And there are so many different ways to place the tiles that it's just sort of like, all right, someone might have stitched you out of 7 points, but I can still claw 3 or 4.
Yeah, another way,
From a different method. And it's like, okay, so you've diverted me onto another path, but now I can do this. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, that's actually just worked out better for me.
Because it's like,
exactly.
by your skullduggery, 3 different paths have just opened up to me.
Yeah.
Which I hadn't seen.
Yeah, there were a couple of times where it was James shouting out, "God damn it, Ant!" But he still prevailed and still beat me twice. So
yeah, there you go. So day 2, Ant, should we go back to purchases first? Because I think that's mainly you.
Yes. So my first purchase was I finally got to get hold of Dune War for Arrakis.
Yes.
That was the big game that they hiked up the price for. But then I went to Zatu and it was still the same price it has been all weekend. So lucky enough they had it there. Went back on Sunday, it was gone.
Yeah.
So again, they all clocked on that they were hiking prices and places, and then just went to Zatu and sold out there.
Did they throw the game at you?
No. But I did have to catch it off the shelf. Does that count?
Okay, yep, that counts.
There we go.
That's a Zatu shelf.
There's
Yep.
Zatu shelf. So that was the first purchase.
We're never not going to knock that company off.
Until they sponsor us anyway.
It was the mocking every time we went past the Zatu stand. Duck flying box.
Great fun. Great fun. James, would you like some airtime to talk about your game purchase?
Well, yes, obviously we've spoken about it a little bit from day one. I did my research. Turns out that the box wasn't the deluxe, the deluxe copy with all the deluxe 5 components, but it was the Kickstarter edition. So it had all the Kickstarter
Extra
stretch
bits.
goals and the extra Kickstarter bits in it. And I did get it from the Alley Cat stand, £35, which I think is actually quite a good price.
I mean, I think that was at least 10 quid cheaper than any other stand that we
most
saw.
definitely.
Yeah, like I said, from the outside of the box, it's really difficult to tell what each stand was selling, but considering the average price that I saw, it was around the £50 mark.
Yes.
You're talking £15 cheaper from the publisher.
Yeah, exactly.
I just punted for the £35. I'm intrigued. I don't mind paying that for a game that's just caught my eye.
Nice. So, and the next stage of the Meeple-minded progression here is we now need a new nickname for James because he is no longer One Game James. So thinking caps on, right?
Two game James.
I mean that's the
three games.
I keep saying I own an unmatched set. That's 3 games.
It's arguable. Either way, that's the natural progression, but I feel like that's just cheating.
Well, we can still technically call him One Game James because that's all he buys a year, right?
I mean, that could work. 1 game a year, James. Yeah.
It's a work in progress, James. We'll get there.
We'll think of something. But yes, James, you also bought something else for said game, didn't you?
That was day 3.
Was that day 3?
That was day 3.
Okay. Fine.
We'll get to that.
I actually made another purchase as well.
Did you?
I can't remember if it was day 2 or day 3. It was whenever you went back to Inside Up.
Sunday.
So I made 2 purchases on the Sunday.
Okay. Blimey. Sunday's going to be a busy one. For me, on the Saturday, all I purchased really was some gaming mats from the Inside Up stand, because I went to that stand 3 times that weekend, 1 on each day. So on the Saturday, I bought 3 of the playmats for the Draft and Write records. I went for 3 because I believe it's a 6-player game, but I only went for 3 because for the most part we only ever play the 3 of us, right?
Yeah. Until Paul comes back, and we
and then occasionally we'll have a 4th. The only time I ever really get to play 4-player games or higher is at my game club.
Sure.
Which is what spurred on a further purchase on the Sunday. But so I bought the 3. They had some really nice designs on those playmats. So I was able to pick and choose which ones I was after. But that is literally all I purchased on day 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very, very limiting on my purchases this year. So yeah, anything about? Have you got any more stuff that you bought?
Yeah, one more.
One more.
So we went to Good Games Publishing and found Unfair.
Yes, that was a day 2 purchase.
Yeah, that was a day 2 because we spent the rest of the day learning it and playing it.
We did.
We did.
Yeah. See, now that was a good one. I've known about Unfair for a few years, but I've never played it.
I'd never heard
forgotten
of it.
about it.
I'd never ever heard of it, and then when we saw it, it was like nearly half price. They were doing the deal.
Oh yeah, it was shockingly good.
And it was just like deck building, theme park building.
Yeah, we like deck builders. We love theme parks. Why are we not playing this?
Let's take the chance. If we don't like it, we'll sell it. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's it's a UKGE price. We can sell it. Back to normal, whatever. And like I said, we learned it straight off the bat. We spent most of the day playing other games as well. And once it got going, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to going back and playing that more and stuff as well. Yeah. So
I will say that was the game that nearly killed us, right? Because
it definitely nearly killed me.
We completely forgot to eat.
Honestly, yeah, because we spent, I think, learning and playing and clearing it all up on the setup. So it must have been 4.5 hours.
I was going to say it was somewhere between 2 and 4 hours. Yeah. I think that we
my blood sugar level got so low as like I was starting to feel sick. I needed to get up and eat something. So me and James went straight for the chicken shop. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a slog. It was an enjoyable slog.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But then last minute, when the realization is like the game's done, it's like, holy crap, it's this time. I need to go eat.
Yeah,
agreed.
But I love days like that though. When you finally look at the time and go, oh my God, did all the time
Where did that go, right? Yeah.
See, obviously, this was the thing. We're saying we've purchased stuff on day 2, even though we always announce that really, day 2, we don't go into the halls that much.
We did it first thing, and then that was it.
All of those things were first thing,
it's too busy to do it.
Because by 11 o'clock, we were in
I was going to say, we weren't in the actual 2 exhibition halls for more than an hour and a half, and we were there at 9.
We were,
and the rest of the day was just gaming, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because we knew there was a couple of bits that we wanted, a couple of stands we wanted to go. I think, Ant, you wanted to purchase stuff. I wanted to get a couple of bits of video.
And we got everyone done with.
So we cracked on straight away in the morning. Then 11 o'clock, I think, was the latest. I think it was actually 10:30 that I arrived in the gaming hall, claimed as a game table, and that was it for the day.
Yeah. You were setting up Pac-Man, was ready to go.
Exactly. Yep. I had a game ready for when you guys turned up. and I didn't move from that game hall, other than to go to the gents a few
That was
times.
it, yeah.
That was all I did
We were
between
keeping that
then
table.
and midnight. So I was in that game hall at that table for near on 13 hours.
At least.
So
Yeah, I know that was a story for all three of us, basically, from that point. Like you said, like Anne said, aside from going to get food, because we realised we've been sat solidly learning that game.
Trying to feeling my legs back.
Yeah.
See, even that, because we were really close to the food vendors in the hall.
Yeah.
That's as far as I went. Was
Yeah,
actually
we had
to
a
go
really
to
good
that
spot.
food
I'm not going to
vendor.
lie. We had it close to the exit and stuff, close to the toilets. It was like the perfect spot.
Nice
we were
and-
keeping that spot all day.
Oh, we were. That was ours. That was ours. Damn it.
But later day 2 was when Steve delivered courtesans to us.
Indeed.
So so that was another one. That was technically the last purchase of that day.
Yeah. Very nice.
Day 2.
So should we move on to day 3, or is there any other highlights you want to talk about from day 2?
That's pretty much it, really.
Nice. So day 3 rocked around. The very last day, the Sunday, unanimously voted as the quietest day. And I think stand-wise, visually, they had taken a bit of a battering
You
on
could
the
tell.
Saturday, hadn't
You
they?
could absolutely tell.
Like it's very rare that you get to see the colour of the display tables, right? Because they were empty.
Yeah.
man.
It kind of makes it pointless sometimes to go on a Sunday because all the good stuff's gone.
Yeah.
But then there is the occasional last minute deal because, like you said in the the podcast we did before, they want to get rid of stock at the end of the day, isn't it?
They do, yeah. I've noticed less and less this year of people reducing their price towards the end. However, as I'm sure we'll get on to, the time I would usually be going round to get those last minute deals, we were otherwise engaged.
Yeah.
But yeah, first thing in the morning, like you could see they'd taken a battering. Some of the stands had even packed up and gone.
Yeah.
Only the small stands, like no one big or anything like that. But
You
yeah.
could see like you were walking down the aisle and go, I'm sure there was a stand there yesterday. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was just a gap.
Yeah, and then the occasional ones where maybe a slightly bigger stand had vacated and a smaller stand had sort of expanded just a little bit into their space to sort of cover up the gaps and what have you. So yeah, you had that, of course, on the Sunday. That's nothing new. That happens pretty much every single year. I don't think purchase-wise for me, I did anything other than I went back to the Inside Up stand with
Yeah.
you.
I came around with you for this bit because we've been talking about, you've been umming and ahhing on the Saturday about getting more earth mats.
Yes.
And whether you could.
Because when I originally bought it, I only purchased one because my mindset was sod the rest of you. I want a mat.
Well,
I
they
want
were-
more bites.
Typical boss attitude,
I
right?
mean, to be fair to Jason, that was at UKGE last year. You had a much bigger wish list,
I did.
and that game was not only the hotness.
The hall was my game hall last year was a big one.
sizable, and those mats were not cheap last year.
No, I mean they weren't
weren't-
much more expensive than what they were this year, but
They were
the way I
still
looked at it was I've just bought the game for I think it was 50 odds at the time. It was like, well, if I get the mats as well, that's going to be another 50. It's £100, and I'd already spent a good few hundred at that point.
yeah, and it's like those other sort of 3-4 mats. That's another game.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point. And like I said, you had a considerably larger wish list last year.
Yes.
But yeah, you'd been umming and ahhing them when you were buying the roll and write mats
Yeah.
on the Saturday. So I sort of said, look, we play the game enough. So instead of you punting for all 3 of them,
Yeah.
I'll get one for myself or 4
Yep.
because we play that game enough for me to justify buying my own mat.
Yeah.
Plus, I really like the design of the wave one.
Yeah, which was the one I wasn't going to buy anyway. So you got the one that you wanted. But yeah, so my purchase was I purchased an additional 3 earth mats because the game still sees the table a lot, both here and at my game club. And also I bought the additional mat for the draft and write records.
So you got 4 and 4 now.
So I now have 4 and 4, and I think I have 5 for Earth now. It's either 4 or 5.
Okay.
For Earth. But there's enough there now because there are times that I will have 4 players, so I'd like to have the mats for those.
Nice.
And like I said, I spread the cost by buying one because I was like,
did.
I like that design and I like that game. So I feel like I can justify £10 for a neoprene mat for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's very fair. The only other thing I remember purchasing, I'm sure there was more things that I purchased, but I went to the folded space stand.
Yeah, but we both did
Was
again.
that your other purchase as well,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
so I bought the the UV printed folded space insert for Autobahn.
Indeed.
As I took one look at the components and went, that's going to need a box insert.
Yeah. I purchased 2. I got a new insert for Earth. While I already had an insert for Earth, it was an MDF one, but it wasn't particularly functional. Really nice insert, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
It's a beautiful insert, but it's the soil and the sprout holders are almost impossible to get stuff out of.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, unless you're using your little pinky finger to get the stuff out, it's just way too tight.
Okay.
So I went in for the folded space one. I always love the folded space inserts. That's a nice UV printed one.
Yep.
And I also bought the folded space Arc Nova insert.
Nice.
To replace my 3D printed one that I did when I first bought the game that now doesn't fit all the new stuff in. So I've now got a nice insert all built.
Which will fit everything now?
It now fits everything.
And I would like to say that obviously this is my first experience of a folded space insert.
Indeed, yes.
I am blown away by how easy they were to put together.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, they are so easy to do. No, it's a foam core thing, and you do punch out the stuff from the sheets of foam core, but it is punch them out. You don't have to cut them.
Yep.
They're all very well cut. Literally, it's push them out,
it was
dry fit and put some glue on them.
Yeah, such a breeze to put those things together, and the UV print, especially for that one, looks really nice.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, it does. Very, very good. So, Ant, was the final day of Expo. Did you make any purchases?
I was out to buy one purchase that ended up being 2.
Okay.
So,
Let's
like
go
I said,
for it.
we mentioned Funfair. I went to go buy an expansion for it. Unfair, even, sorry. And £20 for one. And then, because I said to the guy I bought it yesterday, he said I could have the other one for tenner.
Yeah,
So,
bargain.
bargain there and there.
Really, really good.
Right in there.
And that wasn't the only benefit that we had on that day from going back to that stand.
There was a benefit to this. There's a little bit of a story to this as well. So whilst I was purchasing this, I obviously had my pass for UKGE, which had press written on it. And he said, "Oh, what part of the press do you do?" And I did the whole thing selling the podcast saying, well, we're Meeple-minded. And I used your slogan. We talk all things tabletop game and whatnot. I actually did the radio voice,
I didn't know that.
I actually, 100% I actually said that.
Oh, dear.
And he's like, "Oh, do you do reviews?" I said, "Yes, we do reviews once, maybe twice a month, depending on how we play the games."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, this gentleman over here is the director for our company. He's looking for people to do reviews for his board games." So I said, "Look, I don't actually run the podcast. It's not mine. But I can call my boss and I can get him over here as soon as possible and have a chat with him." And he said, "Well, he's technically demoing in a moment, so give him a few minutes and then, So called you up. I said, "Jason, get over here. We've got a potential studio that we can do reviews for."
Yeah.
So you and yourself and James came over straight away, spoke to the guy. And then we met Kim. Sorry, if your surname is Kim DeBreach or whatever his name is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember the first name.
Director of Good Games Publishing.
Yeah.
And that's the studio that did Unfair. Got to talk to him and then go from there, really. It's like connected with him. We started chatting with him. It was kind of like a job interview to start with, wasn't it? We had to sell ourselves a bit. Just like, this is what we do. This is how we do it.
Yeah.
Because I know you're very strict when it comes to reviews.
Yes.
So we had to get you to explain.
Yeah.
And go from there, really. And then next minute he was like, "Well, do you want to play some games then?"
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because, like I said, when we first come over, it was just we'd have a friendly chat.
Yeah.
We were literally talking about Unfair mainly.
Yep.
And what we liked about it and stuff like that. Sort of progressed on to talking about other games that they publish. I think Trick Draw was the one that we happened to be stood right next to at the time. And obviously explained about the company because as I've said, I've known about Unfair for a long time, but I didn't know about Good Games Publishing. Like,
they're Australian or something. Was it Australian?
They are,
company or something?
So they're from Australia.
Come all the way over from Australia. I was really impressed with that.
But I believe they're sort of now breaking into the UK market a lot more. So the things like Trick Draw, Star Tycoon,
Surf's Up, Land vs. Sea, sorry.
All of these games were all going to be released in the UK in the coming weeks. So obviously Expo was the launching pad for those things. And, sort of explained a lot of things about that. That's really cool. And we ended up playing Trick Draw.
We did.
Which I believe we got a video of as well. I haven't put it out on our YouTube yet, but we played that first. Followed by Surf's Up. Which I believe at the time of recording the video for that is up.
Yep.
But yeah, we sort of played those games. And do you know what? This was even before we'd even talked about the potential
of reviewing,
of doing reviews and stuff like that. And I'd already decided in my mind that Trick Draw was going to be a purchase and Surf's Up was going to be a purchase for me.
Yeah.
I know you were personally interested in, I think it was the Master Quare. Was it Master?
No. Surf's Up I wanted to, because I said it would be good for like my family thing.
Yes, yeah.
But he was talking about the other one, Masters, I can't remember the name of it now, that it released during COVID. So when they reviewed it, only 2 people had played it. So he wanted more than 2 people to have a review of more than 2 players on it.
Of course, yeah. James was interested. He'd already been checking out Star Tycoon.
Yeah, so obviously we all played Trick Draw. Yeah. And I'd stepped outside while you guys were doing Surf's Up.
Yeah.
And as I came back in, as you guys were wrapping up, Star Tycoon was being demoed on the table next to it.
Indeed, yeah.
And while I was sort of half watching yours, it just kept catching my eye. Because I was just like, oh,
this looks good, yeah.
Again, another deck building, space themed game. It's sort of that was almost a purchase for me.
Yeah. And this is the thing, is like just by being on that stand, there was 3 purchases lined up, I think. And it transpired that those games that we were going to be purchasing were the ones that they were interested in us taking a look at. So that's exactly what ended up happening. So we're very, very grateful. We did end up getting a few, I use the air quotes, review copies. We know we don't do reviews per se here, but they seem to like the way that we're going to go about doing our game highlights.
Yeah, he connected really well with how you agreed about your way of reviewing. Like you weren't going to, just because you're giving it to us doesn't mean we're going to give it a good one. And he totally agreed with everything on that part. So.
If I think the game is naff, I'm going to say naff. It's just how I operate.
Yeah.
But we've actually played a few of those games now.
Yep.
Quite a bit, in fact. Star Tycoon was our game of choice last night as well at game night. Really, really good. I'm awful at it. I think that's why you guys like it so much.
Apart from that, it is a great game as well. But it was just, like I said, he knew what we wanted to play out of it. So next minute he was like, right, try this copy, try copy this, try copy that. And it was just a stack of games.
Yeah.
No charge. Take these home guys, review them for me. Just what an opportunity, right?
Indeed, yeah. And it was lovely to do it, but I'm not going to lie, the whole time, because this was, maybe 2 hours before we were leaving?
If that, yeah.
And I was just sort of, all I had going through my mind is, we've got to get back on the train with all this.
Yeah.
And we'd already struggled to get from the hotel to the venue with all the stuff that we'd bought. I was like, where the hell am I going to put all these damn games?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Luckily enough,
we made it happen.
our newsman Paul came to the rescue and took a substantial amount of games off of my back, literally, and took them home in the car for us. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Thank you very much, Paul. But yeah, thank you to Good Games Publishing.
Yep. Thank you, Kim, for spending time with us, and to Good Games Publishing. Hopefully this is a bright future between Meeple Minded and them to do future reviews for them.
I did notice there was a game. I can't remember the name of it or what it's called.
I was on the pamphlet we were looking at.
There's a pamphlet that came inside one of the games.
Yeah, we've already spotted one. It's kind of like, I can't remember what the name was, but it's a cyberpunk style tower thing, and both of us immediately went, ooh.
How very handy. The pamphlet just happens to be right
like
next
magic.
to my thing. Yeah. Let's have a look, shall we? What was it called? There it is. Citrus? Look at that. Look at that for a board present.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that looks interesting. I'd like to try that.
Yeah. But no, it's just what an intriguing studio to do all these different types of games, because not one was the same, was it? It was like a wide variety
and
of stuff.
The art styling on them as well.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, expect... especially Star Tycoon, because we're really enjoying that game.
Absolutely,
I would expect us to be doing an episode of that very, very soon.
Very soon.
Maybe even next week.
Yeah, I hope so, because I'd really like to get that to the table again ASAP.
Yeah. We've already played that, 2-3 times already?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Really, really enjoying that game. But yeah, anyway, last day of the expo, what were your highlights? What were your, other than that, obviously, I think we're all very high on that, but any other highlights or negatives that you have?
The negative I kind of had for me was being a game expo, board game place where you can find extras and upgrades and all that sort of stuff. It is a nuisance to try and find card sleeves in this place.
It really is. Yeah.
It's like people are going to buy stuff and probably want a sleeve straight away. There should be at least a stall of some sort just selling sleeves for crying out loud.
I would say that's probably a negative for me, but just over a broader area. And I noticed the same thing last year, the lack of upgrade stands.
Yeah,
I was going to get to that as well, yeah.
Paraphernalia, if you like. So like card sleeves, metal coins, board game upgrades, all that ancillary stuff that goes with this hobby.
You get a crazy amount of like dice stands, so you can upgrade your dice and things. But other than that, it's very, very minimal.
I kid you not, I swear Hall 2 just had a row straight down of just people selling different dice. It's like, okay, I get it now. Give me something else, like James said, metal coins, different types of other components that we can upgrade to acrylics, or something like that. So that was a big negative for me. Yeah. And I know it's all about new games and bringing about the new stuff. And I know Bring and Buy sells older stuff, but I do find it weird how certain places don't store stuff for older games. Yeah. Like at the moment, I'm really heavily playing Imperial Assault. Yep. I went to every stand asking for it, and exactly. I know I'm kind of late coming to the game. I know it's quite old. I think I managed to get one, maybe two pieces for it, and it's crazy how everything's just new. When let's have some old there because they're not still getting played at the end of the day, are they? So
you're lucky if you get something that's up to 3 or 4 years old.
Exactly.
I mean that unfortunately is a particular game I seem to remember because Imperial Assault is Fantasy Flight.
It is, yes.
Because I remember that being a big presence when I was into X-Wing, and I remember it basically dying when Legion came along.
Yeah,
but there was X-Wing stuff. There was more X-Wing stuff there than Imperial Assault. So that's what I was thinking. Oh, if there's X-Wing stuff, then Imperial Assault has a chance.
No. Yeah, that's nothing. What I mean. I remember seeing Imperial Assault everywhere until Legion came out, and then it just disappeared on the face of the
And I think I had that attitude last year because I was looking for older stuff, and again, it wasn't there. Yeah. Nothing wrong with obviously new because let's move on and stuff. But I think it's because I'd been to Essen before, and there were stands that had selling older stuff, and I was kind of expecting the same, which wasn't the case.
I guess that's one of the pros and cons to Essen being so big. They've got the space to really do that. But that will lead me on nicely to actually talk about the news that came out while we were actually still at Expo. Now, I'd heard this over the weekend.
You actually spoke to him, didn't you?
It wasn't made official at the time, which is why I wasn't prepared to talk about it with anyone. But since Expo, it has now been made official with the plans and stuff being released. So that next year, and I believe years going forward, the layout of the UK Games Expo is going to change. Now, currently, we've got halls 1, 2, 3, and 3A of the NEC.
Yeah.
Hall 1 being the biggest, and I think 3A being the smallest. 3A is currently used for ticketing.
Yeah.
And nothing else. That's pretty much it. Then you've got 3, which is your gaming, your event space for the tournaments and stuff like that, and also the bring and buy.
Yeah.
And then halls 1 and 2 are the main event, so to speak. So going forward from next year, due to I believe they've hired hall 1 to another person, I guess.
Someone's bought it out for like the next 10 years or something, haven't they?
Some rubbish. I don't know, or a set amount of time anyway. Meaning that Games Expo cannot use it. So now they're switching to using halls 2, 3, 3A, and 4. Now, by rights, hall 4 is bigger than hall 1, but it's just quite long.
Yeah,
it's quite thin. So, to my understanding, hall 4 is now going to be the open gaming and the ticket sign-in. I believe halls 3A, 3, and 2 are all going to be event space. Now, that sounds to me like it's going to be a lot bigger. I'm not so sure it will be, but it sounds like it could be bigger. The one thing I have noticed, though, from the plans is not one mention of the bring and buy.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. This is just pure speculation on my part.
So they're still having issues with it then this year, or?
Well, I've heard that it was better.
Okay.
The only downside this year, and what people were complaining about, is if you weren't there on Friday, you weren't going to get
We're going to get anything
because it was empty. So the people that put stuff in are happy; they've sold their games. But come Saturday and Sunday, the only games that were left were horrendously overpriced, and that's why they didn't sell. So by all means, it's better.
Yeah.
I think that there is a potential that they won't do it next year to save the space.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
If because of the move around, I'm wondering if they've decided to cut it for the space. Now I know none of us are bothered by it, but do you think that will be a downside for UKGE? Should they cut that down?
I think it might potentially aggravate some gamers who have done it previous years.
Yeah.
Can't do it again. But then, like I did during the event, I spoke to a couple of people on Facebook and they brought their games to UKG and I just done a transaction with them there and there. So if they do get rid of it, at least people can still do that as a backup maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But I think, personally, I think they should keep it because it's like part of the event, isn't it? It's like having a ball game event about ball games. It'd be weird to have a bring and buy, but it doesn't really affect me as much because I don't utilize bring and buy as much. I don't know if you guys ever used much of it at all.
I've never used it.
Never used it.
No. I'm really not. Like I said, as a personal thing, I'm not fussed if it disappears.
Yeah, I mean,
but I know a lot of people do like it. For me, though, this year we had an increase in the open gaming, which was lovely, and I could see that they had increased the space. It was fantastic.
And it showed Saturday night. It was packed out.
It was. If you weren't in the game hall by sort of 4 or 5 o'clock any day, that was it. You weren't gaming in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, but it felt like no one was gaming in the Hilton this year. Everyone was just in Hall 3.
It's hard. I was going to say, it's hard to say because this is the first year that I've not been over to the Hilton at all.
We've not needed to, though, really.
No, we didn't. Because we had our game space and there was a large enough group of us that we were rotating games where we were. I have no problem if they want to get rid of the bring and buy because I don't want them to have to cut down the open gaming again right after increasing it. And the thought of them cutting it down with how busy it was even after increasing it, they really don't want to be decreasing that open gaming. So, yeah. I would say an added bonus to where they're going to move it to. Now you won't have that big horrible staircase to go up between halls 1 and 2. So I would say accessibility is much better because it's now all on a level field, so to speak.
There is that. I see a problem with the layout though because it is it's almost U-shaped, the NEC, isn't it, with the atrium and the sort of little food court in the middle of the halls, and hall 1 was right at the sort of tip of the U. And now it's the back bit, and which wouldn't normally be a problem, but in the back right-hand corner is where the stairs come down from the train station. So I see between doors 2 and 3, they're really going to have to get the queuing system right at 9 o'clock in the morning.
So it doesn't block it.
Otherwise, it's going to interfere with the stream of people coming down because that is a major entrance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, though, I'm on that train with you because you're all at the back of the whole, as you said, you're at the base of the U there, aren't you? Where it all swings round. So all the entrances are on that one little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas before, as you said, Hall 1's entry right down the other end of the arena. Yeah. Then it was Hall 2 about 2/3 of the way up. Yeah. Then the 3s were right at the bottom of the U. But now you've got that 2, 3, 3A and 4 all in line with each other.
Yeah. So it's like it'll be. I don't see Hall 4 being a problem because that's where ticketing is. Yeah. And like
they
this
can just
year,
send it down the other way.
It's all going down one side of the thing. But that corner, if they don't get the queuing right, is going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have some reservations about how things are going to change next year. Obviously, it's early doors. Yeah. They've released the plans for it. I think a lot of things are going to change.
Yes.
More information will come out.
Every single one of those plans will be subject to change.
Of course they will. Obviously, I would be interested to know whether they are going to bring and buy back or not, where it's going to be, how much space is it going to take up, that kind of jazz. The ticketing, they've got to sort that out, because if I'm going to pick holes in anything, it's going to be ticket collection for this year.
Yeah.
Because the Friday, for example, when we were going around Hall 1 when it first opened, we remarked after we got round Hall 1, I was like, this seems very, very quiet.
Yeah.
But we decided to take a break, go outside, grab some air, and that's where the pebble dropped, because the queue for collection of tickets was crazy long.
Having said what I just said, I actually, from remembering the diagram, I don't even I think the queue on the Friday morning for people who are picking up tickets, I think will be worse, because thinking about it, this year, like you said, the whole of Hall 3A was just ticketing.
Yeah.
So
the queue came out.
You had all that space, and it still went all the way down the side of the NEC, out the front door. I think Paul said he came out of his hotel at the Moxie, which is on the other side of the roundabout, and that's where the end of the queue was. The new layout, ticketing's only
halfway down the hall. It's
not even halfway down. No. It's about a third, if that, because open gaming is behind it.
Yeah.
So that queue's going to be all the way down to Resorts World if it's anything like this year.
Yeah. So, they're going to have to really make sure they're hot on the tickets this year. And the thing is it was the same on Saturday.
Yeah.
So there's obviously an issue with getting the through fill.
If only they treated it like a concert, like either send the tickets out or email them out, then you can just avoid this whole thing.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people are saying they want to go down the scannable barcode route.
Yeah.
I personally like it the way it is. I like going and collecting.
It's good if you're like press or something, I get that, but it's a bit of a nuisance.
I think the main reason I don't want them to go down the scanning the barcode at the door e-ticket route is because then they have to scan you every single time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
stuff like that.
Point, yeah.
It's gonna slow it down getting in. However, I do agree with the idea of emailing out a ticket that you can print off as an option.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to collect your ticket, print it off at home. And then you just show that. That will be fine. But I'm okay with how it is. I just think
they need to sort that out.
I don't
even think it's not a throughput issue, because Paul? I can't remember who we spoke to, but they were in the queue to pick up on the Friday morning, and they said he did move at a quick pace.
Dave,
it was just Dave, that's it. Sheer volume of people.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're not trying. Like there was a good 30 people working the ticket collection stands.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're skimping out on.
Yeah, it's just sheer volume of people. Like I said, Dave said that queue moved really quickly.
Yeah.
It's just you've got so many people.
Yeah.
It's still a long queue.
Yeah. I think the other thing that doesn't help really is because obviously kids getting for free at Expo, but they have to come to the stand so that they can see the kids.
Yeah.
So you're immediately, let's say for example, a family of 5 is going, 2 adults, 3 kids, where 1 adult could stand in the queue to go and collect said tickets.
Yeah.
You're now forcing that number to 5 because all the kids have to be there. And that one parent isn't going to stand on their lonesome. They're going to stand with the family, aren't they? If they've got to go through the queue. So it's like, what could be 1 person in the queue is now 5. That's 1 family.
Yep.
There's a lot of families that go to this. So that queue, like you said, could move really, really quickly because it's like, come and collect your tickets. Well, that's 5 people gone.
Thing is, I see that. I see that as a really easy fix because all the tickets have the coloured bar at the bottom. So just make a kid's ticket have a different colour bar.
It's actually even better than that. Kids' tickets are totally different because they actually have a hand-drawn picture.
Yeah.
So they're not the same.
It would be fairly obvious if an adult was wearing a child's ticket and trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah, I do agree. But yeah, so anything else you want to talk about UK Games Expo 2024? So one final thing that we can bring up. Obviously, we did have the chance to go to the press event on Thursday evening.
Yep.
We can mention it very quickly. Obviously, most of the stuff that you see there is at the normal thing, so we can cover that as well. But was there any highlights for you to go to the press event? Obviously, it was Ant's first time to the press event.
Yeah.
But James, did you have anything?
I can rattle off a couple of things. Obviously, we mentioned during your day one thing that we saw the giant corridor Pac-Man, which was just cool to see.
Yep.
I loved seeing Galactic Cruise in the flesh.
Yes.
In its almost complete form. I think the guys were saying it's like it's 98% there.
There's a couple of bits of artwork they're waiting on.
Yeah, but like that was just gorgeous. One that I personally didn't know much about, but again, really caught my eye was SETI.
Yes.
Seeing that set up on the table was brilliant. I know one that Ant is probably going to mention in more detail, but again, real eye catcher was Cthulhu Horror on the Orient Express.
I completely forgot about that. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Just seeing that 3D train set up where it was just sort of like, ooh.
It looks good.
That's a beast of a present. It was so good. The box for that was huge. It was like double the size of Nemesis, wasn't it? It was crazy.
I mean, it was huge though, because it's like you got to think of the is it Western Legends that has that? No, it's not Western.
Colt Express.
Colt Express. That, but bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was like 2-3 times the size of that.
I mean, it was the box size was Foundations of Rome, wasn't it? That's
close enough.
Sort of
Yeah,
size.
absolutely.
And the other one, which I cannot for the life of me remember, but it was the other music sort of rock band themed one.
It's the one that Ant
Hard Rock 1977.
With the player boards that look like guitar amps.
Yep.
And they went to 11.
And they got to 11. Yes.
I don't remember seeing that at the actual show, though. I remember seeing it at a press event. I don't think they had it on display at the show.
No.
They had Cities was there, and they demoed Cities at the event. But yeah, you could not go near Hard Rock 1970.
No.
That is going to be a huge thing for SN. It was the one I mentioned for the episode before about the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that was. I mean, as a huge rock fan, like I saw that and would just start geeking. I was like, oh my god, they're shaped like amps and they go to 11.
Nah, really, really, really good. Obviously, my highlight really for the press event is just how welcoming, obviously, all the publishers and stuff were.
Yes, definitely.
And it's nice to sort of get to know the people and really have a chat with them away from the general public, because it's a bit more relaxed. You can really hear what you're talking.
Go at your own pace and everything as well.
Go at your own pace. It's nice to be able to get the content as well. Again, if I'm going to pick holes in anything, I did have some negativity towards the end of our time at the press event.
The organisation.
Because whether it was by accident or what, I don't know. They started letting people into the game hall, which I don't believe they usually do. The people that came into the game hall were going to the food stand, and the food stand was right next to where the press event was, and there was no one to stop anyone from just walking into the
in
press
and
event.
out, yeah.
And then it got to the point that the press event just ended up being taken over by, chancing general public.
Yeah.
And of course, we were having a couple of times where we were having a conversation, maybe doing a bit of recording, and then little Jimmy comes over asking random questions that are nothing to do with it. And of course, the publisher doing their job, answering the questions up. Well, hang on a minute, we're busy doing something here, and it just started to get a bit annoying.
Yeah. If that's one thing I really, touch wood that we get to go in again next year, that I would want to see done differently, is better organisation around that event. Because, like you said, there were times we were in the middle of recording with a publisher, and like you said, you got suddenly 3 or 4 people dive in, start asking questions. Because that's one thing that I noticed both last year and this year at the press event, was all of those people who are there to do media content are very respectful. If someone is in the middle of talking to them,
you don't interrupt.
They will stand, they will wait their turn patiently to move in. And like you said, as soon as the general admission basically got in, it was just, it was like an extra day.
Yeah, it was a free-for-all.
Yeah. But yeah, I noticed something quite funny there from listing all those games that I'm excited about. It's like, quite a lot of those games are releasing at Essen, and that's like 3 or 4 games that I would buy in an instant. And I'm not going to Essen, so I dodged the bullet again.
What a shocker. What a shocker. But yeah, and what about your first experience of the press event?
I wasn't too sure what to experience with it, because when you mentioned it was 3 hours long, I was in my mind thinking that we were just going to sit in a hall and listen to each developer present their game, which wasn't the case at all. It was pretty much like going through the hall and just going to their stall.
Like a mini-con.
At your pace and just looking at stuff. But we got to see, I hate pronouncing it, is it Cyclades? Cyclades, the deluxe edition. That looks amazing. The artwork looks gorgeous for that. I got to meet the creator of Loot. Not Loot, it's Loot. He was there having a quick chat about it. And again, that was another big seller of UKGE. And then I think you two were having a look at Galactic Cruises. And then I stumbled across a stall that did, it's essentially, basically a charity has designed a card game for families to play, and one's to do with cats, one's to do with dogs, one's to do with dinosaurs, and it's this cute little game where you're just filling up cards on every day of the week. And it was something I think like me and my daughter could play with. I bought multiple copies of it, and all of it just goes to, all the proceeds go to the charity that designed it. And I thought that's fantastic. It wasn't all there just to, here, buy my game. No, this is going to a good cause, and it's actually quite a nice little game to go with. And then obviously Patterson's, we bumped into them and saw their new game, didn't we?
Yes.
Which that is another game that looks like the presence looks twice as good as
it's crazy.
Distilled. So I look forward to playing that. That'll probably be available Essen time again as well, but who knows? But yeah, it was a very nice experience and very chilled out, easy way, and some great games to look forward to.
Excellent. Would you like to try and do the press event again next year?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Excellent. I'm exactly the same. I always have great fun when we do the press event, and as I said, this year we put a little bit more effort into doing more content while we're on site, and I think next year we'll probably try and up.
We'll be in full
more.
swing of it, next year.
Bit more equipment will be on board, hopefully.
Well, you and I were testing with new equipment this expo, weren't we? So I think next year we'll have it to a T and have it done properly.
Yeah,
so.
we've got a full year of playing around with new equipment now, so I'm trying to get used to being on camera and stuff like that. But overall, I had a great weekend. As I said, it is probably my favourite expo I have been to so far. As a group, I think we had a great time.
Absolutely.
There was plenty of laughs. I know my partner had a really good time. She was constantly laughing at how much we muck about. We still didn't play full-size Hungry Hippos, James.
We did not.
And we did not go to the Pecora fish and chip stand.
We didn't, because we didn't go to the Hilton.
Exactly.
Didn't need to.
No, we didn't.
No, but there's a running joke that we've had for years, Jason, that there is a spy satellite listen to our conversations.
Indeed.
And it just trips us up at everything. And I swear, one of the comments we had about the NEC last year was that there was not a fried chicken shop.
Yes.
Yeah, and what was in the top of the train station waiting to greet us this year?
A brand new fried chicken shop.
With some of the best tenders ever. I'm sorry. KFC ain't got on this guy.
Oh, no, they were really good.
They were very good. But it was just that coming up the escalator into the concourse and just going, what is that? That wasn't there last year.
That's literally the first thing you said when you got to the station,
Well, I think we may have actually outdone the Pecora fish and chip stand with that. I know you had the barbecue, right?
Yeah.
But you missed the trick. Whenever there was garlic and parmesan,
one of the best combos ever.
I don't like Parmesan cheese.
Mate, I'm missing out.
Missing out on that one. Really, really good. And we did manage to stink the train out eating it on the way home as well. So
that's why everyone got off the next station.
I mean, we said that on the Saturday, didn't we?
We did.
It's like, all right, if there's time, we are coming here before we get on the train.
We planned out. It was, even if we were going to run late, it was happening, right?
Oh yeah. We would have got on a later train just to get some of that. So yeah, there you go. So should we wrap it up?
Yes.
Mate. Yep.
UK Games Expo 2024. I'm guessing this will probably be the last time we talk about Expo.
But what a weekend! Money was spent. Games are played.
Far too much money was spent.
Expensive food was eaten a lot. What a weekend.
Yeah. No, really, really enjoyed it. Can't wait for next year. We're already looking at hotels for next year, right?
We are.
Yeah. I believe we're going to try and stay in the same one.
If we can.
Very much it just ticked all the boxes, that hotel.
Did. Yeah, I'm having a few issues trying to get that hotel at the minute because it seems to say that it's sold out, but I don't think it is. But yeah, we will get that sorted. We'll get it booked ASAP. But onwards and upwards. And you and me are on our jolly holidays in just a few months.
We are.
Where we jaunt over to the...
just got to spend these next few months getting the spending money.
Yeah. The land of bratwursts. Where I'm going to have that every day. I'm just saying it now.
Yeah, you are.
That's what I'm going to live on, man. That's what I'm going to live on. And those spiral
Chips.
potato things
I
that they
know what you
do
mean.
as well. I feel like you can't go to Essen without trying one of
£8
those.
for
Right?
fried crisps. Nice.
Yeah, woo! £8 or €8? Or is there
£8,
any-
equivalent
or is there
to
any
£8 quid.
different?
Yeah, so it's about €10.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, give me the bratwurst, man. Give me the bratwurst. Love it. It's my favorite. One of my favorite foods. When I've only ever been to Germany once.
We'll post a daily photo every day with your bratwurst in your mouth.
Be two bratwurst. I'm fat, man.
One either side.
Yeah, one either side. Family friendly show.
This is. I said bratwurst, guys.
James, anything else you want to say?
Aside from being insanely jealous that you're going to Essen,
You had the option.
I know.
Just saying.
I need to buy a car.
You still haven't done it.
I know. The reason
All
I'm
in
not
good
going,
time. It takes a while.
The reason I'm not going to Essen is I need to save up to buy a car.
Well, what can I say? I sacrificed not having a car in order to be able
All
to.
fairness, that's the reason why I didn't go last year.
Yeah.
So
Well, I haven't been before, and I still don't have a car.
hopefully James will take my space next year. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see. I think Essen's going to be one of those I'll do every couple of years, but we'll see how it goes. But yes,
But Expo is an every year thing.
Expo
hands
is
down.
our home turf. I think we need to be there every single year. My bank account disagrees, but what the hell? I want to go. So there you go. Shall we head off?
Let's head off.
Let's head off. Thank you very much for listening, guys. I guess till next week. I
It is
have
next
been
week.
Jason.
And I've been James.
And I've been Ant.
And you have been listening to the Meeple Minded Podcast. Join us next week for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta and goodbye.